All right, good morning. Welcome to our My Jong Pie program, starting back up for this fall. Over the summer, we spent a lot of time working on some foundations of footwork. And I think as we move into the summer here, out of the summer into our fall session, let's keep up a little bit of that and start applying it to some of our foundational My Jong work with our goal of moving towards the Tum Toy, the Tom's 12 kick set, which has just so much information packed into it. And it's quite accessible because it gives us sort of more bite-sized chunks. And one of the interesting things I find with Tum Toy, it's one of the places where we actually see a little bit more balance between doing it with both sides as our lead. We'll get a right, right kind of, or left, right, left kind of setup with our Tum Toy, which means we learn those skills on both sides of the body, which happens in most sets with a few movements, but not with the entire sequence. Okay, let's get ourselves warmed up for those who are just coming in on the archive. Let the head rise and fall. And looking from side to side. And we'll go ear to one shoulder and hang. And the other. Again, to the first side. And the second. Let the head roll. Shoulders can go back. And shoulders can go forward. Arms can circle one way. And arms can circle the other. We'll reach and lean to one side. And to the other. Again to the first side. And the second. Arms can go nice and loose and wrap around a bit. Yeah, like we often do with the Mahjong, one of the things we want to get in Mahjong La Horn is this feeling that the arms are like whips or like, cannonballs on the end of a chain. So here's our horizontal. Think of using the ground to spit those hands out and let them wrap around the body. And then downwards diagonal. And rising diagonals. Good, and downwards verticals. And rising verticals. Good, and then split vertical. And then the other way. Good, and shake it out a bit. Hips can roll one way. And around the other. One more time, the first way. And the second. Let's do a little bit of hip loosening. This is kind of a modified exercise between the Mahjong and the Kalari Payat. So we're going to put our hand up, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and get our hip to go loose. We're going to lift one way and like a pendulum swing front and back. And let's do that with the other side as well. So we're just going to balance here, let that leg swing, let the knee go loose, quad stretch, hamstring. It's a dynamic warm-up. Good, and we'll shake it out a little. Okay, warming up those legs. Let's do just a little bit more stretch before we get in. So we'll go to our lunge. We're going to lunge to one side, settle. Good, and to the other side, and lunge. And we'll come on up. Okay, so long fist, which is one of the sort of base systems for the Mahjong horn, has a lot of work on long fist, on learning how to engage the whole body and lengthen in a way that gives us reach. So typically the tighter we are, the harder it is to get reach. The more we can allow rotations to exist in the body, the more chance we're going to get that extension. But also, one of the things that a good Kung Fu system should do is it should help maintain your body, not break down your body. So let's go to one of the foundational punching exercises from Mahjong, that long fist idea of reaching and getting coordinated, where we're not punching with the arm. We're dipping in, we're twisting through the body, and we're driving out the punch. And I'm pivoting a little on that back foot. I'm folding in my hip. I don't want to lean. I want to learn how to rotate and extend, keeping my shoulders low. I'm then going to come around, grasp. So here we get the idea that we're driving a pull and a punch from the hip that's bent. I push out of it, I fold into the other side, and I rotate through my trunk. Shoulder blades down, middle knuckle extended, and out. So these are just good calisthenics. Lower abdominal engaged, foot in the ground. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And come on up. You can do lots of those. They're great little squat exercises. Watch your knees. Make sure you're not poking them over your toes, but get that sense of driving. When we come to throws and locks, again, working with a singular limb doesn't do what we want it to do. We want to learn how to use the rotations of the body and the legs in the ground to create our power. So let's go to Mahjong's second punch drill. And this is where we get a little bit of a deflection or a block. And you see a very common boxing exercise is kind of cover up and put the glove on your head. And this is kind of similar, but again, in long fist, we're reaching out first. So the idea with this kind of stuff is that we're deflecting and slipping. But not only are we slipping, here's our seize point. So we're pulling and pushing again. So we're slipping, we're sinking, we're pulling, we're pushing. And again, I'm learning how to slip. Look how my head is shifting off that center line, but my fist is kind of driving down. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to get your glutes to fire. 6, 7. Load the glute, push. 8, 9, 10. One more set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And come on up. Calisthenics, they're working the body as a whole. Okay, so one of the other ones we've been working on comes to us from the set we last did, the Surround set, where we're going to learn. So in fighting positioning, we've got sort of our upright square-ish position. We can kind of be a little bit more diagonal, and then there's lateral. And lateral is one of those ones that is got some advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages of lateral is when I'm here and I'm punching, that's pretty good. But as soon as I turn to the lateral, look at the range. So if I'm thinking about long fist, lateral gives me a lot of range off of my lead side. What does it also do? It takes my solar plexus, it takes my liver, and kind of shifts it out of range a bit. And it gives me nice range off that lead arm and lead leg. What else does it do? Well, it kind of takes the other side of my body and moves it away. And so the reach from the other side of my body, I've got this nice range off of this lead arm, so I can be poking around on the lateral, sitting here and covering up, but it's hard for me to get that other side of the body involved. So this is where my Jong tries to train the hips to be able to kind of go click, click between a narrow forward position and our lateral position. So we can twist, shift in, shift back. So here's a drill that helps with that twisting. So if I'm poking away with you with my lead, but I want to throw a rear arm, I'm going to have to pivot around that front hip to engage that, but then I can go back to my lateral defensive position again. Okay, so how does this look as a calisthenic kind of workout exercise? We're going to start in our good horse rider stance, engaging our lower abdomen, dropping our lower back, resting the shoulders, and we're going to go twist, punch. Now here's that kind of slip. Now in this case, it's quite stylized. It's going to come over the head, and we're going to pull back and punch in our lateral. So then we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to scoop through. I'm going to get that nice twist in my hip. Again, I'm pulling and pushing. And here I learn how to pull and push as well. I pull with this upper arm, and I push out to punch. And that's all being driven from the loaded leg. So in this case, it's my right leg that's loaded, and I push out of it to create that next move. So I kind of fall into my lead leg, punch, push out of that leg, punch again. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do one more set. 1. Use those glutes. 2, 3. Push. Push again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Okay. Come on up. Let's work on an exercise that also goes from lateral, is drifting between the square and the lateral. And this is a leg exercise. So now we're going to work on 2 kicks. We're going to work on the inside foot stomp. So we're turning our toe away from our body, and we're driving with the heel and the instep out. And then the opposite is turn in and drive with the heel and the blade of the foot side. So this one, as a calisthenic, we're going to start with our hands on our hips. We're going to start with one leg forward, and we're going to stomp. We're going to settle because it's calisthenics. We're going to squat. We're going to come around with our leg, and then we're going to drive. And then as we step down, we're going to snap back. So we're learning how to, boom, come back to that forward position. 1, turn to the lateral kick. Come through. So when you're stepping, step a little to the diagonal, and then drive through with your hips. 1, settle. 2, come across, kick. 3, square up. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you've been working with one leg forward, time for the other leg forward, and we go stomp, and we're coming around to the lateral. Kick and back to the square. 1, lateral, square, inside, side, square. And we're really looking for that nice work. Where do we want power to be generated from? That belt line, our glutes, our quads, our abdomen, through the kidney area. We want all that working together. Now, there's also some interesting work in here about how to set up foot sweeps. So as we come around to the front, you can actually think about kind of hooking somebody's foot and cleaning it away before driving that side kick and then moving back into position. 1, sweep, kick, step back in. 2, sweep, kick. And all of this is working on balance and stability and precision that we can then adapt into our more mobile fighting system as well. Let's just do a couple more to finish here. So 1, if you want to think of this as a sweep, think of sneaking that foot around. Could be even a roundhouse kick. I could be going from here in on my roundhouse. I might be pulling that back, driving it back out again, back to that forward position. 1, 2, come around. 3, 4, you want that really good, strong workout? You're going to squat down before coming back up. Work your balance, work the snap in your hips. In, squat, come up, snap across, drive out, come forward. Okay, we'll leave that one there. That one takes a good toll on the legs. So let's switch gears. Let's start to work on one of the main foundations of the Tuey, and that's an upper body exercise. So in this case, we were talking about learning how to turn the hips to the square and to the lateral. But this exercise is a little bit about turning the waist to the square while the legs stay in the lateral. So here's the drill I'm going to get you to start with. Just let your feet be kind of natural shoulder width apart for now. Squat in slightly. And what you're going to do is you're going to go like this. You're going to turn your trunk, but leave your knees facing the other way. Then you're going to come back and you're going to turn to the other side. So we're going to go tick, release, talk, release. So it's effort to turn the waist, and we want to sink in our legs. We want potential, and then come back. If the knees are compromising as we turn, if we're rolling in our ankles to turn, we don't have that stability. We don't have a power base. The power base is being able to sit down in the legs and strengthen through the core. 1, back, 2, back, 1, back, 2, back. Okay. So how do we link this into some of the work, the hand work in Tuey? Well, we're going to talk about, in the set, we're going to go back of hand, palm, there's that turn of the waist, punch is the return. So like we were doing earlier, we're doing that sort of twist to the lateral on the hip and roll back to the, twist to the square with the hip, roll back to the lateral to throw the technique. Now we're going to try and keep our legs a bit on the lateral, but be able to turn the waist to generate a punch off that lead arm. So we're going to go wind up the lead arm, press out. Now, what is it also teaching me? Could be backhand strikes, could be palm strikes, but a lot of these are going to be parries, tapping something out of the way, pressuring with that hand and releasing to punch. Now, in this case, it's going to be a vertical punch in the set, but that could be rolled over. There's lots we can do. They can't show all the permutations in a set, or it takes too long. So we go 1, squatting in. Let's think of this hand as a parry for today. Tap, tap, punch. Tap, tap, punch. Tap, tap, punch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pum, pum, pum. Tap, tap, punch. So we're talking about how the sets start with the calisthenics. They want to limit certain movements to encourage you to learn how to integrate other parts of the body, that if we only If we never focus on it, we often destabilize ourselves and our legs, and we're not using the legs. We're trying to get all of our power from the arms. We want to get the power from the rotation. As I turn, I sink. I'm sinking my body in. There's my palm parry. Now, in the set, I'm pulling this down to the hip. Yes, in a fight, I'm not going to bring this down to my hip. But again, I'm thinking about, in this case, really, it's like going to the gym. You're pulling, you're twisting, you're engaging those muscle groups so you can release. 1, 2, 3. But notice what it's also teaching us, not to flare that elbow. We're tucking that elbow and we're keeping that elbow without flaring that elbow. If we're going to release it as a longer punch, we're just going to extend. But again, we don't want to roll out through that elbow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tap, tap, punch. Tap, tap, punch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Now in the set, we end up with this classic kind of in the armpit motion. Now, we can do this as a nice core exercise. And I'm going to turn my back here. So here's our core exercise. We're going to sit in the legs. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, punch. 1, 2, punch. And we're going to turn in our trunk. Like we did earlier, we're just kind of turning and pointing. Now we're going to turn and create 1, 2, 3 motions. 1, 2, 3. 2 on the turn, and then on the return. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So why does that thumb get hooked here? Because again, this wants to stay. If I'm working in that lateral, I'm not necessarily going to hook it into my armpit, but it's teaching me not to let this arm drift. I've got a specific thing about bringing this hand into place. Also, it's not a bad place to catch and move things, but also it's not flaring. Okay, let's just do 5 more on each side for that one today. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. Nice. So let's just put one more thing into the puzzle today. That person isn't staying in place. So one of the things that happens in the Tum Toy set is we tend to step up to this position, and then we step out in another direction. That's because we're changing angle, we're creating our linear patterns, but we can think about the step up, step out. So when we're talking about in the summertime, how to shift by moving a back leg in. We were doing that from our forward fighting position, shuffle up a bit, step out a bit. We can do this in this lateral position as well. So we can think about 1, step up, step out. 1, as we step in with as we come in with that parry we were talking about, as we go to parry, we can shift a bit of distance and make some distance for our punch. 1, 2, 3. We could take that the other way. 1, step up, punch out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What was the other variation we were talking about in terms of moving without changing lead? That was going from here, instead of step up, step out, it was step out, shuffle in. So now we're going to use that in this piece we're going to use kind of both of those. We're going to step in a little bit on the backhand. So I'm pushing out of my back leg and using that backhand. I'm shuffling up from my palm and I'm striking out. So what have I been doing the whole time? I've been stealing space. I've been crushing distance a little bit. I'm working off this lateral where I've got the range. I'm moving in with that lateral. And that could be just quick jabs. That could be backs of hands. There's lots of things that could be. And then as I shift up, I'm moving in and then I'm pressing back out again. So I have this idea of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, it's kind of stilted, it's linear at the moment, but it's teaching our body how to coordinate up those bits and pieces so we're not stagnant with our movement. We're not individualizing a piece without incorporating the leg work. So we got leg work. 1. We're moving in. That could be a little jumpy. So we see a lot in sport karate and stuff like that. They like to use a lateral sort of jump in back fist kind of motion. Boom, and then we cover. Then we choke up. And then we go to our lateral again. And we're covering our body on that lateral. So it's again a way of studying moving from the lateral to square with the waist, back to lateral. In this case, we're not changing the stance work to the square. We're changing the upper body to the square. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. That's lots of rotations and things on the body as we get back into up to speed after the summer. Let's keep working on that. We'll keep breaking down bits and pieces of the Tum Toy set, and then we'll start working on the choreography itself and talking about all the different levels that a good Kung Fu set can help us with our overall health and mobility, as well as our power production. Thanks for training today. Talk to you soon. If you have any questions, let's stick around, take those. If not, we'll see you next week.